So hi, my name is Sierra Azobi. I'm an NA VCL and Game Changers caster actually, so that's my background. Great to finally get to talk to you. I've been following since back with the G days and franchising loosely when I was still in high school. But all in all, just this interview is talk a little bit about Wrong. Looking forward to your next match up against Lev versus Crew, and just some of the team vibes and developments that have happened over this stage overall, and diving into them a little bit more. So just to get it out of the way, you kind of touched upon it right before we started. Uh, it's some really close matches, and then you had Bind, a map that hadn't even been played by G2 since Bangkok, where you tried to struggle through, tried to grit out that 210 comeback, but it just didn't go your way. And aside from, like you mentioned, playing some of your worst maps, just from your perspective, what went wrong that allowed G2 to snowball that in that fashion on Bind?
Um, I think just winning a close series like they did on Sunset, kind of catapults them into map three. Um, and they obviously had a game plan going into Bind, that was much better than ours, and their comp was just hard to play against. So it was a combination of a couple things.
Mm-mm. And as part of the composition, obviously, we get the Baby Bay deadlock, and Baby Bay and you obviously have a little bit of a history, right? Playing against him quite a bit back with the phase days pre-franchising when you were on both 100 Thieves and NRG. So I was just curious, what were your kind of expectations playing against him going into the match, and then how did they differ actually once you were in the server?
Yeah, Andre is the type of guy that will just always be good. Especially slotting into a team like G2, it's kind of hard to perform badly in a team like that. When you play with players of all of their calibers, it's you play up to their level no matter who you are. So someone who was already good and is playing with G2, it's they're only going to be amplified in my opinion.
Makes sense. And how is it also adjusting to maybe some of the comp changes G2 throughout, particularly around the stage pick multiple times? I know she's getting buffed soon, so I feel like that's where G2 is headed. But I wanted to get your initial opinion, pre nerf, having to play against that, and Joan especially.
Yeah, maybe it's practice for champs. It would make sense, but um, yeah, I mean they just play every situation very well for the most part. If you're not basically like close to 100% individually, you're not going to beat them. So that's why we won Corrode. Everyone was shooting. Everyone was, in my opinion, just outperforming all of them individually on our team. So it tapered off a little bit on Sunset, and it tapered off very badly on Pine. We just couldn't get anything rolling other than pistol.
Mm. Yeah. Okay, and kind of now delving back to some of the preparation that came into this match and the preparation into the next few matches. Number one seed, obviously a blessing. The fact that you get to have that first round bye, but then it's a little bit difficult because in that limited downtime, you're prepping for like two possibilities and two teams. So I was just curious, kind of what the spread out of pre-plan looks like between okay that pre-match, the day before the match when you get to watch the match they play and adapting that game plan overnight to address any changes that you saw in the moment because you're gonna have to do it again, right, with Lev versus Crew.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. You only really have a night to prepare. It's near impossible to do all that for two teams. So it's a lot of work for coaches and myself. Trying to make sense of all the prep that's being done. Um, and at the end of the day, I mean, we're fine with a lower bracket run. It's okay. We just gotta win. It's all the same. Even for that game, it's kind of it's our mindset. You just have to keep
Mm.
winning, one game at a time.
One game at a time, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that as well because you are in that spot that I feel like is rare right now because G2 is so ahead in champs points where like four teams in VCT Americas are tied for champs points and still all have that opportunity off of champs points to make top four. So how does it affect again that match to match mentality where every point, every win matters in making that difference up?
Yeah. I mean, everyone just has to treat it as we just. I mean, I don't know how else to think about it. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like my mentality. You just have to keep winning, even if we would just won one game and made champs. Like the job's still not done. Keep going until you're either knocked out or you win the whole thing. That's all it is.
Nice to hear. And speaking of that lower bracket run, obviously Lever Crew up next. I wanted to see like who do you want to face off against, and who do you think you would end up facing off against if there is a difference.
Um, I think Lev is starting to heat up a little bit. I think having a win and then even their close loss the other day. I think they're slowly coming together individually. So as a team, they're all gelling, and they look good. I mean, when people are firing off, which I think all of them have the capability to do, it's a scary team.
Hmm, cool. Cool. I guess that answers that question. You're expecting Lev to win then, and you wanna face off against him as well. All
I
right.
think Lev will win. I want to face Lev.
Nice, nice. And speaking of level a little bit, it feels like you guys have that similar environment shift. And I asked Calm this too at the beginning of the stage. Just aside from what you mentioned in other interviews about feeling like you have to be a role model for this squad, how is shifting from like a veteran super team kind of style to a rookie core affected both kind of the vibes and the overall team culture? Coming into this stage.
Um, it gets a little weird. I think a lot of people on the team try to be their own kind of leader,
Mm.
which can be a good and a bad thing. But I think we're getting to a spot where everyone knows their role. Um, so hopefully we gel in time to make champs.
Well, I mean that means you only get stronger with passing time as those roles get solidified. And speaking of, you mentioned everyone wanting to be their own leader in those roles. You've been asked and you've talked a lot about just picking up the main calling and the IGL role. And I wanted to frame it in a little bit different of a way because you have obviously worked alongside like some of the best IGLs, FPNS, Boostio, and more. And so I was curious, did you draw any kind of inspiration or like points stylistically from them when adapting your own style that you can think of in your calling or even just energy as a leader?
Yeah. I mean, I try to take things from everybody. I mean, I've played with so many people in multiple games. Um, Even one thing from each person is a lot. So I mean, yeah, I try to take inspiration from other teams, people I played with prior. Um, just anything, honestly, just anything I can learn from. Because I mean, realistically, I'd say this is my first year IGLing, even though
Mm-hmm.
I did it with NRG in the past. But that year was nothing in comparison to this one. So I like to think of this year as like a fresh start, and it's a lot of learning and it's hard, but I'm getting there.
I know you said you had to watch a lot more VODs and consumed a lot more time in that fashion. And you also mentioned that because IGL now you're working a lot closer with Coach Bonkar, obviously, and that support staff. And I was curious, behind the scenes, just Bonkar left, came back, how that development was for you, and I guess like why as a team you felt like his style of coaching maybe like wasn't a good fit at the time for the old squad, but then was for this rookie core, and how it shapes up to then support you guys to be the best version of yourselves today.
Yeah, we have a joke in the team. So he just took a little vacation and he came back. Um, so that's our little running joke in the team. So he's back, and yeah, I think he's very helpful with younger players. I think the squad we had before, it was kind of all over the place, just in terms of personalities. Um, so it was a little harder to manage, and unfortunately, he got the short end of the stick on that one. And when we made the new squad, the one we have now, it was pretty apparent that he would be very helpful if he came back.
Amazing. All right, and then I'll keep it short. Obviously, it's getting late. I'm on the East Coast. It's almost midnight. But then to end on kind of a fun note, obviously we said a loss like this is hard. So you have one kind of off day aside from prepping for that next matchup. How do you just kind of reset, rejuvenate, not be too tough on yourself leading into then this lower bracket run you have to set yourselves up on for that champs Paris appearance?
Yeah, just it's all about learning and fixing the things that are fixable, right? So G2 did a lot of good things today. Um, they owned us in a lot of situations where we really had no control over,
Mm.
and there was obviously some mistakes that we made that we can easily brush up on and fix for the next game. So just the normal fix, prep, and prepare. That's it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm also hoping for the NRG live game. I think that would be just amazing head to head. The rookies that have played against each other in tier two now on the big stage, and again, Lev has to make that full run. You guys need more champion points. It's gonna be absolute cinema, and I wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, have a good night.
Yeah, you too. See you.